Okay, so the recording has begun. Let me start sharing my screen with you all. Let me know if you can see my screen, but okay.
What's the job in the air plugs on there?
Mr. Keisha. Yeah. Okay. Good. Okay. So today.
Good evening.
Good evening. Yeah. Today I thought to myself that we should just do past papers. So today we're just gonna be doing different questions from past papers, and so that's how we would be proceeding. Um, just so that you can get used to um, the questions that actually come, because a lot of you are always ask, okay, Mr. Petit, is this coming? Is this coming? How will it come? And stuff like that. And so I said, you know what, let's do some past papers for tonight. And moving forward, I think that's how we're gonna be basically doing it for the most part, unless something crucial happens and then there's a topic that we really need to stop and do. But that's how we be progressing through past papers. Um, so we're gonna start very easy, and then I'm gonna switch over to the hard, more, I wouldn't say hard, just probably more unfamiliar ones. All right. And so with that, the way how we do past papers, when we do past papers, I want you to write down the question, and I want you to write down the working that I provide. All right, and then send them to me as you do them. Okay, so let's begin. So this is number 19. Um, it's weird that I started number 19, but I want to start at number 19 because the earlier ones just too easy. So I just want to start at the ones that are a bit more involved. So let's begin. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes.
and you can hear me clearly.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's good. Um, okay, so we're gonna begin with this. If you have graph and paper, that's perfect. If you do not, then you'd have to draw. You'd have to actually draw the axis that I'm doing. All right, so the question that they asked us is that they said um, on the graph above, we have to do certain things, right? So we have to um, draw the line x equals to 1. Okay, now this should be easy for us because we did this before, but I don't know if you all remember how to do it. But anyone remember how to draw the line x equals to 1? Anyone remember?
Yes, sir.
A line straight across.
A line straight across, one on the x-axis.
Not straight across.
Straight down, sorry.
Yeah, vertical. All right. So when we have x equals to 1, you know that's gonna be a vertical line. Okay, that's gonna be a vertical line, a line that goes up and down, and it's gonna pass straight through number 1. So draw this graph, the the y-axis and the x-axis. Draw this triangle here, and then on the same graph, draw the line x equals to 1. Okay, so let's do that. Is there anyone who's trying to join that I am not allowing? Okay, good. One moment. Okay, so let's do it. So we have to draw a line that runs through 1, positive 1 that is, and it gotta go straight down vertically. Okay. All right. And they didn't tell us that it's a broken line, so we have to draw it as a solid line. Let's weight it out, and then there we have it. So I'm gonna put it in a distinct color. let's put it in red. All right. So this is the line x equals to 1, and then we have to label it, right? Yes, ma'am.
When do you put the broken line again? When it's a negative?
Now you put the broken line when you're dealing with inequalities.
Okay.
Here we're not dealing with any inequalities, so so that means that we don't need any broken line. All right. So where can I put this labeling? Should I put it over here?
No, sir. Too far
No.
from the thing.
Too far
It had
from
to be near the x-axis.
it have to be closer to the line. So I could put it right here, or I could put the labeling right here, or I could put it right here or something. But I have to be close to the line. I'll put it right here. So this is the line x equals to 1. Okay. Let me allow this person to come in. Okay. So if you finish draw it, let me see your your drawing. I want to see a triangle and I want to see your line running through 1. So send it to me as a picture on WhatsApp. So we have completed number 1, all right, or A. All right, we've drawn the line x equals to 1. Now they say reflect triangle ABC in the line x equals to 1. All right, in the line x equals to 1. And so what that means is that this line x equals to 1 is going to be our mirror. Okay, it's going to be our line of reflection. All right, it's going to be our line of reflection. If you do not have graph paper, you can always draw it. Okay, you could always draw it on in your book or folder sheet or something. All right, so this is the line x equals to 1, and we have to reflect this triangle in this line. So that means that this line is going to be our mirror. All right, and we're going to reflect this image onto this side. Okay, so try that for me, and once I come back, I'll do it. I mean, once I just allow these persons in.
What's the question I was drawing the graph?
Okay, so let's do it. So we have to take this image and reflect it onto the side, right? And so let's do that. The first thing I would start by doing is I would start by doing it point by point. What I mean is the following. This point is the point A. And so let's use a different color. Let's say we use the color green. And so we notice how far away is the point A from this line. Well, it is 2 units away. You see that, right? So it is 2 units away from this line. So that means that our mirror point, or our reflecting point that's going to be on this side, is going to be how much units away?
2 units away.
2 units away. All right, so it's going to be 1 and 2. All right, and so that means that our new point, right, that we're going to do it in, say baby blue, this new point is going to be at the coordinate -1 and 2 right there. Okay, they're the same distance apart. Okay, so it's better than mine. So this is going to be our new point. Now we're not done because we have to reflect the entire triangle. All right. Someone is asking me something.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so let me erase this part. All right, welcome, Lionel. All right, so let's do the other one. So the next thing that we want to do is we want to
Miss
consider.
Petit,
Yes, ma'am.
could you just go over B one more time? I didn't quite understand how you get the dot to land on -1 and 2.
Okay. The idea is that, thank you for the question. The idea is that we we start at this point, the point A, and we notice that the point A is 1 and 2 units away from this line. All right. And so since this A is 2 units away from this red line, we have to ensure that the new point is also 2 units away. Okay. And so it's going to be 1 and 2 units away. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other questions before I move on to the next point? No?
No, sir.
Okay.
So
Could you go over it? I just come.
So it'd be like a mirror. I have a question. Would it be like a mirror, like you mirroring both sides?
Yeah, it's a mirror image. Yeah, it's a mirror
Okay.
image. So you start at point A, and then you go 1, 2 units. So it's 2 units from this red line. And then since it's 2 units away from this red line, you're going to do the same thing to get to the blue. So you're going to say 1, 2 units. Okay? What's the idea there? Now we're not done because we have to reflect the whole triangle. And so in order to reflect the whole triangle, we have to go to the next point, and the next point is I'll choose C. Okay, so choosing C, we know that C is how much distance away from that line? Well, it's going to be 1,
5,
2, 3, 4, and 5 units away. Okay, and so therefore the new point must be 1, 2, 3, and 4 and 5 units away, right? So again, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units away from the red line. So the new point must be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 units away. So our new point is going to be on -4, 5. Okay, that's where our new point is going to be. -4 and 5. All right. Next up, we need the point B. Okay, and we notice that the point B is, let's see, this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6
6.
units. Yeah, 6 units away. So our new point must be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 units away. And so it's going to be right here. Okay, it's going to be right out. And so now all we need to do now is connect the dots, right? That's all we need to do now.
So, Mr. Betty, I have a question.
Yeah.
When we do it when we connecting it, that's basically C or no?
When we connecting it, no. We still on B when we connecting it.
Oh,
When we label it, it's C. Okay, when we label it, it's C.
Oh, I thought we was labeling it, or I we was on B.
No, we leave that for C. All right, so let me move these lines. All right, so we just need to connect these dots. All right, so where are we? So we have all right, so let's connect the dots. So we're gonna connect this point with this point. All right, we're gonna connect that. We can connect those 2 points together. All right, so this we're gonna do, and then we're gonna connect this point with the next point. All right, and that's gonna be this. And so that right there is our reflection. Okay, but can you see that it looks like this exact same triangle just from a mirror standpoint? You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Looks
sir.
exactly.
Yeah, so this one, so this triangle is a mirror image of the other one. It's like looking into a mirror. You see that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And so that's how
Yes, sir.
you know that your answer is right too. You could kind of feel that it's right, or sense that it's right.
Mhm.
If we get something like if we get an image like over here, then we know that okay, we ain't doing something right. Or if we end up with like a square or something, then we know okay, we doing something wrong, right? So so make sure bear that in mind. So who's trying to get inside here? No. Okay, so send me the images, please. Send me the images. I want to see them. Don't run from it. Send me the images. I want to see if I want to see if you're doing it right. All right, so make sure send the images for me. Let me see. Now the next question. So we already done B. Now the next question is C. All right. So we want to label the image A1, B1, and C1. Okay. So this one, right, this point right here, right, which was derived from A, this point right here is going to be A1. Okay. This point is going to be A1. Which one is going to be B1?
The one across from that?
Yeah, the one across, right?
Left hand side, yes.
Yeah. Who was that voice? That's
Lashika.
Oh, okay. Okay, good stuff.
B1 is the bottom one. Cross.
Yeah, B1 is right now. This B1 is this. And then C1 obviously is going to be this one, right? C1. All right, and so that's how we would do that. Okay.
Oh, I thought it was commas.
No, they're actually ones. Okay. Okay, so we are done with C. Now we have to do D. Okay. Now D says move each point in A, B, C 2 places to the left and 2 places down. Okay. So the first one that we did was a reflection, right? This is a reflection. We call this one a reflection. So this is a reflection. That's the name of the transformation. It's a reflection. Okay. Remember we did transformations before, right? I don't know if y'all remember that, but this is a reflection. And a reflection just means, you could see the mirror image on the other side. So this is what we did. We did a reflection. Now this one that they want us to do is they want us to do a translation. Okay. They want us to do a translation. And a translation just basically means that you're going to move the image. You're going to just like push it. Thank you, Miss Nixon. Very good, Miss Nixon. Thank you, Alicia. Thank you, Juan. Thank you, Deshaun. The rest of you, I'm still waiting on the images. The rest of you, I'm still waiting on your notes. Thank you, Miss Roll. Thank you, Daniela Roll. All right. Okay, so translation. Make sure you're using a ruler when you do these, please. I notice that some persons are not. Make sure you use a ruler. So this is a translation. A translation is going to be when we just move the image. So we just move it off. Just push the image, all right? And that's exactly what D is telling us to do. It says move each point in ABC 2 places to the left, then 2 places down. And we could represent this, idea or this movement in terms of a vector. So the vector that we use to represent this, right, is this vector. So we have open bracket, and they say 2 places to the left. And so since they say 2 places to the left, we would put 2 on top. And since they say 6 places down, we're going to put 6 at the bottom. But it's 6 places down, so it's -6. And 2 places to the left, so that's -2. Okay? And so this is our vector that would represent this this translation. Okay? So this is another way that they could ask it. They could just say, apply this vector on this image. Okay. Now this question is from a BJC paper, so of course they wouldn't use the idea of vector. They wouldn't say do it like this. But if this had come from a BGCSE paper, they would have write it like this. Okay. Okay. So move each point. So the -2 represents the number on top, and the -6 represents the number. I mean, the -2 is the x-axis. The -6 is the y-axis. All right. So A says move each point 2 places to the left. Okay. I mean, sorry, D says move each point 2 places to the left. So we gotta start at this point, A, and then we gotta go 2 places to the left. So I'm gonna use purple for this. So we're gonna move 2 places to the left, and then 6 places down. Okay, so let's do that. So we're gonna go 1, 2. That's 2 units to the left, and then we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Yep.
So this is where we would land. So we would land right there at the point 1 and -4. Are we clear on that?
I got it on 2.
No. 1, 2, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Right there. The point 1, -4.
Huh?
Huh?
How you get -1?
That's because I do it right. We was on 3 here, Miss Cooper.
Ew.
Yeah. Okay, so let's do B. So B is gonna be, we're gonna move it twice to the left, 1 and 2, then 6 times down, so it's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So it's gonna be right there. I don't know, but y'all sound very quiet tonight. I don't know what's happening. I had a bad day.
I understand.
Mr. Petit, can you come be again, please?
Come B again. All right, no problem.
Yeah.
All right. So let's do B again. So it's gonna be 1, 2. So that's 2 places to the left, right? And then it's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 places downward. Are we good?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right.
So the coordinates is 5, -3. No.
5, -3, yes.
Okay.
Okay. Kennedy, where are you?
Hello.
Hello? I ain't hearing you now. I ain't hearing you. What happened?
No, I writing.
You writing? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Writing the next Netflix series.
No, 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 no.
You say no,
I
no, no.
wouldn't dare.
You say that no, no, no too fast, man.
I wouldn't dare. My ma right near me.
Okay, all right. Only when she go there, only when she step out. All right. Okay. So, um, now we want C, the point C. So we gotta move 2 places to the left. So it's gonna be what? 1 and 2.
2.
Okay. And then we gotta go 6 places below. So it's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
So this is where we are right now. So we are at the point 4, -1. Okay. Next up is we're gonna have to draw in the lines. Now these green stuff that I have with the showing the length and stuff, when you are done with everything, erase them. They're not supposed to be on the diagram. Okay? I just use them to show you how I count, but you don't keep them on. Okay? Is
Okay,
that clear?
I was just about to ask that.
Yeah. You don't keep them.
Yes, sir.
Oh man. Okay, keep. Oh my word. Alright.
We can join the lines, right?
Yeah, you could draw in the lines. So draw in the lines, please. I just trying to get these green stuff off without erasing everything.
Okay.
Okay, good. Alright, that works. Oh, okay, good. Okay, that don't move. Okay, good. Okay, so notice that I'm erasing all those green marks because we don't need them right now. We're already done with finding out the coordinates. Now, let us insert our lines. And we expect, what image that we expect to get?
The first image that we had, do I know what that is?
Triangle, right?
No.
Okay, good. So we're connecting the points. Alright, so we should be good. All right, so that's how it's supposed to go. Any questions on how we got that?
No, sir.
We good? Sorry, someone is trying to get inside there. Okay, good.
So, Mr. Petit, I have a question.
Go ahead.
So, since it didn't, since it did not A1, B1, and C1, you wouldn't move the other one? Or you.
Okay, so if we read the question properly, it says move each point in ABC. So they really meaning the first triangle that is there. Okay, so move each point in this triangle 2 places to the left and 6 places down. Okay,
Okay.
so excuse me, with that in mind, so we already did that. Now let us label it. So we done with D. We already moved each point 2 places to the left and 6 places down. We already did that. Now for E, we want to label the image, okay? And we want to label it A2, B2, C2. Why do you think we're labeling it A2, B2, and C2?
We already got A1.
Yes. Because we
Right.
already have A1, we already have B1, we already have C1. And so we got to
Correct.
label this A1. Sorry, A2 rather.
A2.
So this is A2. And then we have, this one is
B2.
going to be, okay, let's do B2 now. B2,
And then C2.
yeah. So it's going to be C2. Alright, so that's how it is. I wanna rewrite this again because it doesn't look good. So this is A2.
Mr. Petit, it doesn't matter if you put the number like on top.
No. The number have to be at the bottom. It have to be at the bottom. It's a subscript,
Okay.
not a superscript. Okay?
I put them to the bottom, but I just wanted to know if it could have been at the
No,
bottom or top.
it shouldn't be at the bottom, at the top. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, so that's that first question. And so we done all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts. How do you feel about this question? Easy, hard, difficult, medium?
It was easy.
All right,
That was alright.
it's all right. Okay.
It was easy to me.
Anyone else? How do you feel about this question?
It was easy to me.
Okay. Okay, so I'm glad that y'all say that this is easy.
Oh no.
I'm very happy that y'all say this is easy.
Or should we say easy for now?
Real.
Well, let's see.
Correct.
Like I say, math is easy. Math is easy. Don't make it hard, right?
So you wanted us to say it was easy.
Rough any more we can do?
Yeah, we can do more. All right, so this is easy peasy one. So let's move forward. Okay, so I want to grab a question from this. I want us to consider this question. Colin's in yet? Ah, okay, good. Wholeness. All right. Okay, so let's consider this question. This one, it's not hard. It just may be unfamiliar to a lot of you, but it's not difficult. Okay, so let's consider this question. So I don't want no notifications. Good. All right, so let's consider this question. You have to be paying attention for this one, because it might be unfamiliar. So let's consider this. So it says that the general expression for a trinomial is ax squared plus bx plus c, right? And a trinomial, right, is just a polynomial with 3 terms, right? So we have this term, this is the first term, this is the second term, and this is the third term. It have 3 terms, okay? And so we call it a trinomial. Now, they tell us something very, very, very clear. They say, substitute each set of values into the expression and then factorize it, right? So substitute each set of values into the expression and then factorize it. And so we have this expression here. We have something for A. A is a coefficient. A could be any number. B could be any number, and C could be any number. But here they say specifically make A 1 specifically. And then they say here specifically make B -5. And then they say here specifically make C 0. And so we're gonna see how that looks like once we substitute it. So the first thing we're gonna do is write down the expression. So the expression is AX, so AX squared plus BX plus C. Okay, plus BX plus C. Now, remember A is what? What is A? A is what?
1.
A is 1.
A is 1. Okay. And so it's going to be 1, open bracket, X squared. Now we don't have none to substitute for X, so it remains X squared plus B. What is B?
-5.
-5, yeah. -5x
Plus 0.
-5x plus C. Now what is C?
0.
0. Okay, so we gonna put that in brackets as well.
Mm.
And the only reason why we put it in brackets is just to show that we substituted it. Okay. Good. And so now we could remove the brackets. So what is 1 times x squared?
1. Is it 1x?
1x squared.
No. What is
X
1 times
squared?
x squared? X squared.
X squared.
Okay, again, the reason why that's the case is because what is 1 times 5?
Can you repeat that?
What is 1 times 5?
5.
5. What is 1 times 6?
6.
6. What is 1 times 7?
7.
Good. So what is 1 times x squared?
X squared.
X squared. Good. That's the idea. So 1 times anything is the other thing itself. So there's going to be x squared. Now we have to be very careful because this is a positive and a negative.
So it's a negative now.
So if you have a positive times a negative, that becomes what?
Negative.
Negative.
So this is negative 5x.
5x.
Okay. Now we cannot forget our equal signs. Please do not forget your equal signs. Because otherwise it's not a complete statement. Plus what?
0.
0. So
0.
we can remove the brackets, yeah? And just put plus 0. And so we have simplified it. So we had the general expression ax squared plus bx plus c. They tell us specifically what A was. A is 1. We substitute that in. They tell us specifically what B is. B is -5. We substitute that in. And they tell us specifically what C is. C is 0. And so now they want us to, after we're ready, substitute everything in. They want us to do what?
Factorize it.
Alright, so let's begin. So what we have to do here is, this 0 doesn't matter, right? So we don't have to put it in the next line. So in the next line is going to be x squared minus 5x. How's the next line gonna be? X squared minus 5x. So that's straightforward. Now, in order to factorize this thing, we have to ask ourselves what is in common in both terms. Like, what is common in
X.
both? Yeah, x is common in both terms. And so that means that what we're gonna do is we're gonna put our equal sign, of course, but we're gonna pull out x from each term. So this is x squared, so that means that there's 2x there. So we're gonna take 1 out. And then there's only 1x here, so we're gonna take that out. And so that leaves us with simply open bracket. And so we ask ourselves the question, what times x is going to give me x squared?
2.
No. What times x is going to give me x squared?
1.
No.
2.
No.
X.
No. What times x is going to give me x squared?
X.
X.
X times that.
Very good. So listen carefully now. So this x times this x is going to give me x squared. Okay? Again, this x times this x is going to give me x squared. Now we go to the next term, which is going to be minus. Now, what times x is going to give me 5x?
-5 or 5.
Yeah, 5.
5.
Okay, because x times 5 is 5x. Again, x times 5 is 5x. And so we could close our bracket now. And so we are complete. So now we're done. We cannot factorize this anymore. It's already completely factorized. The idea with factorization is that you should be able to multiply what's outside with what's inside to get what was above. Okay? So if we take x times x, that gives us x squared, so that's good. And if we take x times 5, that gives us 5x, and so that's good. And so that means we are good. Any questions on that?
No, sir.
No? Alright, pretty easy, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, so it's straightforward.
Straightforward. Okay, so should I do another one like this, or are you good with these things?
We can do one more.
You could do
You
another
could
one.
do another
Do one
one.
more.
Alright, so
I
let's
mean,
do,
next one.
alright,
Yeah, do one more, please.
so let's do another one. So another one comes right from the paper again. Alright, so again, these past papers, I'm not making these stuff up. That's what they put inside your exam, so they expect you all to know it. Let's do the second one. So the question is the same. What they want us to do is they've given us the general equation for the trinomial. And again, a trinomial is a polynomial that has how much terms?
3.
3 terms. How you say 3 in Spanish?
Tres.
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 Tres. Okay, good.
Tres.
Have a lot of Spanish geniuses in there. That's good. The last time I did Spanish was in grade 6.
Wow.
Yeah. All right, the general expression for a trinomial is a squared plus bx plus c. Substitute each set of values into the expression and factorize. So try it. Try it on your own. And I'll do it on my side. Just don't look at the screen. Okay?
Very interesting.
Very interesting. I should put the wrong answer in and then see if you all.
Well, you already tell us. So.
Alright. Okay, good. So try it on your own. Don't worry with me. Just pretend that I'm doing something wrong here. Try it on your own without looking at the screen. Then once you finish it, then you can look at the screen and see.
I got it, Miss 15.
You got it?
So
You factorize it and everything?
I think we can't factorize because
So you can't factorize it?
C don't
Yeah.
have anything in common with
Yeah.
You think you can't factorize it?
no.
Why did
C,
you tell us factorize if you can't factorize it?
I think it applied to the other questions or because to confuse us or something.
So, Mr. T, since Mr. T.
I'm here. So where do we go from here? Think about it.
So you want to do the same thing, but
To group all the like terms.
Say it again.
We could
do the
Try
same
to
thing.
select all the like terms.
If you try to collect all the like terms, which terms would be like terms in this question?
And remove the x from the 7 and one of the x's from the x squared.
Now the problem is that the x squared and x is not like terms because this is to the power of 2 and this is to the power of 1. Okay, so there's a trick that we could use to factorize stuff like these. It's actually a trick, okay? And so the trick goes something like this. What you have to do when you see something like this, wherein you have a constant, it's not 0, you have to put one blank here and the next blank here, and then you're going to put in the middle is you're going to put an addition sign. Okay, you're going to put an addition sign. And then you go to the next one, and then you're going to put another blank, and then you're going to put a multiplication sign. And so the trick says the following. The trick says that you want to find two numbers that you could what?
Factorize.
Add together
To
give you 7. Okay, so you're going to find two numbers that you could add together.
5 and 2.
7. Right? And those same two numbers that you select, right, to give you 7, must be the same two numbers Now when you multiply them, gives you what?
10.
Gives you 10.
10.
5 and 2.
2 and 5.
5 and 2.
5 and
2.
5 and 2.
2.
Very good. And so the idea here is that you want to find two numbers, and when you multiply them, when you add them, you get the middle number, and when you multiply them, you get the number at the end.
Mama then.
And so the numbers are 5 and 2.
So
This is 5 and 2. So 5 plus 2 is 7, and 5 times 2 is 7.
10.
Good. And so what that allows us to do, okay, what that allows us to do is that allows us to break this up. So we're going to break 7 into, look how we're going to break 7 apart. We're going to break 7 and write it as, we're going to write it as, so it's going to be x squared plus, we're going to say 5x plus what? Plus
2x.
2x plus 10. So what did we do? We broke 7x apart into what? Into the 5x and the
5x and 2x.
2x.
And 2x.
Excuse me, Miss D.
Yes, ma'am.
So every time if we get a number that we can't factorize, this is what we're supposed to do.
Yeah, this is the trick that you use, right? So
Okay.
if you have something where this is 0, you don't need to use this trick, right? You just have this here. You could factorize these two terms. We have a like term in each, right? Or we have a factor in each, so we good. But when you come to something like this, you have to use this trick, okay? And so once you do this, the idea is that you're gonna factorize by grouping now. And so the idea is that you consider this 2 and this 2 separately. And so what are the common factors in x and 5x? What are the common factors between x and 5x?
5.
X squared and 5x?
X.
X. Very good. So x, open bracket. Okay, what number we can multiply by x to give us x squared?
X.
X again.
Yeah, x. And what number can we multiply by x to give us 5x?
5.
5.
Very good. Okay, close bracket. Plus, now 2x and 10. What is the common factor?
2.
2.
Okay, so open bracket. What can we multiply by 2
X.
to give us? What can we multiply by 2x? Sorry, what can we multiply by 2 to give us 2x?
X.
X, yeah. Good. Plus, what can we multiply by 2 to give us 10?
5.
5.
5. Yeah. Good. Now, I want you to look at this carefully. Look at this carefully now. Do you see anything common in both of these terms?
X.
No.
And 5.
X plus 5 and X.
Ah, very good. X plus 5 is here.
X and 5.
Yeah, this x plus 5 term is common with this x plus 5 term. And that's what we're looking for. And so that means that we could pull that out. We could pull the x plus 5 terms out. And so that's gonna leave us with, so this is equal to x plus 5, because that's common in both. And then finally we are left with just what's on the outside.
The X and the 2.
This X
Well,
and this 2. And so on a separate bracket, we're gonna put open
okay.
bracket X plus 2. And so we have factorized it completely. Okay. And so there you have it. How was it? Easy, hard, medium, difficult? How you feel about that?
Medium.
Medium?
It was good, I guess.
It was good. Familiar or unfamiliar?
Unfamiliar for me.
Yeah.
Unfamiliar for me.
Yeah.
Unfamiliar.
Unfamiliar.
Yeah, unfamiliar.
Yeah, so this topic of factorization comes, so make sure you know how to factorize these things. So either you can factorize straight up, you know, where you have these two terms that are the same, you could easily factorize that. Or you could factorize it with using this trick, and use this trick when there is a constant, okay? And the constant does not look like the other ones, okay? All right, so let's go back to the easy questions. Let's take it down a notch, and then we can go back again. So we're gonna do some more familiar questions, and then I can go back to another unfamiliar question.
Mr. Petit, can you go back to the example you just did so I can take a picture?
Sure, no problem.
Thanks.
Okay, for those persons who have not sent any notes yet, please do that. I do not want to spend my weekend running after people for notes.
Sushi was pretty high.
Hey, Destiny.
What we're doing first, doing something. I took my very long to finish.
Okay. Okay, so you telling me you back now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Okay, so make sure you know how to factorize. Okay? And don't worry, we'll have more practice with these things. Okay? We'll have much more practice. Okay, so let's continue. All right, so yeah, so let's go back to the easy questions. This should be easy and familiar. This should be an easy and familiar question. These are these questions where you'd be like, boy, please come on my exam. This is easy. All right, so Fast Car Auto is selling used cars for $7,000 cash, or 25% down and 24 monthly payments of $275 each. It's important to understand what's happening with this question, because when I was in junior school, I never did understand how you purchase like that. I didn't really understand it like that, honestly.
You doing that right now, and I don't understand that.
Yeah, I never really did understand it. I don't know. It didn't make sense to me. Even when the teacher, she tried her best. She broke it down. She explained, but I just didn't get it. It didn't really make sense to me. But what I realized is that you really have to understand what's going on. Like, so let me try to explain it. And hopefully you get it.
Please do.
Say it again.
I say please do.
Please. Hopefully you get it. I hope that you get it. So let's do it. So there we go. It says Fast Car Auto is selling used cars for $7,000 cash. It's very important to understand what this means. This is saying that if you have $7,000 cash, like if you could go inside your closet, grab $7,000, go to the people who sell the cars and give them $7,000, they will give you the car for how much?
$7,000.
$7,000.
$7,000, right? That's the first thing to understand, right? So it's an option. The first option you have is to pay it cash, to give them their money cash, $7,000. And I know all of you all have more than $7,000 saved somewhere. So
Really?
that's good, right?
I received it in Jesus' name.
I know that, I know that, right? But for us teachers who don't make the money, we have to go with the 24% down, right? So the next option is that if you cannot have $7,000 cash, if you don't have $7,000 cash, you could do the next option, which is, okay, I don't have that $7,000 cash, but they're saying, okay, give us some money first, like a deposit. That's your 25% down. That's what they mean. So your 25% down is what you're gonna give them initially, right? Just to say, hey, I serious. I ain't no joker. I serious about this. And so you give them that your 25% down, and then in 24, how much monthly payments?
24 months.
24
monthly payments.
whole monthly payments, 2 years.
2 years. I just gonna ask how much years. So after 2 years of paying $275 each, then you'll be finished completely paying for the car. So people normally go with the 25% down and the 24 monthly payments, and the reason why is because they do not have the $7,000 cash. And so I ask you, which one which offer would you take? The cash or the 25% down?
The 25% down if you don't have the $7,000 cash.
All right. Well, we have to see.
I personally think I'd save up the money to buy it.
You just
Me
save
too.
the money, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, some people prefer saving and then buying in cash, and some people prefer just, hey, let me just pay this monthly payment, right?
I think giving the cash one time makes more sense, though.
You think it makes more sense? All right. Okay.
To like
So
just
go
keep the
ahead.
cash rather than putting 25% down.
So you're thinking of 25% down. So let's look at it and see which one costs more. Okay, which one will cost more in the long run. So it says 25% down and 24 monthly payments of $275 each. Now it's saying 25% down, and here they're saying that's the down payment when they say 25% down. So they're saying Mr. Roll decided to use the payment plan like the typical Bahamian. So calculate the amount of the down payment. That's the money that he first have to go to them and say, here, this is my down payment. I'm serious. Then after they say, okay, are you serious? Okay, so now pay the 24 monthly payments. So the question is, how much is his monthly payments? How much is his monthly?
Would you put 25% over, right? And then
Okay, give me like 2 seconds. I want to do
Alright.
something. I want to do something. So I actually want to write down the time. So it's 7:07 p.m. Let me just take this register so that it wouldn't be so much of a hassle when I have to do it over the weekend. So, all right, good. Okay, so we good. Back to your question now. So, yeah, so it's very important to note, and I should just make this very clear, that the down payment, right? So the down payment, equals 25%, but it's 25% of something.
So they put over
12,000.
100.
25% of
Of the $7,000.
the $7,000,
$7,000.
the selling price. Okay, so
Is that also like saying a quarter of the 7,000?
yeah, that's also saying a quarter of. That's very good that you noticed that, right? So the down payment is going to be equal to 25% of what's the selling price? Or I should say, let's say cash price. What's the cash price?
$7,000.
$7,000. Okay, so just bear that in mind. Now, when we see of tells us to do what?
Multiply.
Multiply.
So down payment is 25%. times or multiply by, there's a multiplication symbol. Where's that symbol?
Right next to the division.
Oh, I knew that. I just was
Yep, I know that.
yeah, I just testing that, make sure.
As always.
As always, right? Okay, 25% of 7,000, right? And so now we're going to calculate what is 25% of 7,000. Okay, so the down payment, so let's do that. So it's going to be 25%. We know that we could write 25% as a fraction. That's going to be 25 over what?
100.
Over 100. Oh boy, yeah, everybody talking now. Y'all like these questions.
Yeah, and then it's so the
Easy to
second
Thank
one.
you.
Like these questions.
Yeah.
Right. Times
Yeah.
7,000 over 1.
1.
Okay. Equals. So we're going to simplify, right? So we know that this 0 could cancel out with this 0. That 0 could cancel out with that 0.
That's good.
So we are left with 25 times 70.
70.
And what is 25 times 70?
1,750.
So 25 times 70.
150.
Let me just put it in a calculator here. 25 times 70 is 1,750. So the down payment that he has to put, all right, is $1,750. So he goes to the place. Someone mic is on. Yeah, so he goes to the place, and he needs to show them that he's serious about stuff, about buying this car, and he has to bring to them $1,750 before he could even start to pay the payments every month. Okay, so the amount of his down payment is going to be $1,750. Okay, good. Let me save this file before something happens.
Excuse me, Mr. Petit.
Yes, sir.
Jonathan said that you could let him in the classroom.
Okay, no problem. All right, so okay. All right, so okay, so let's move on to the next question. It says calculate the total monthly payment. Okay, so the total monthly payment. Now the total monthly payment is going to be how much you have to pay for the full 24 months. Okay, how much you have to pay for the full 24 months.
Yes.
And so how are we gonna do that? Total monthly payment is gonna be what?
275 times 24.
Yeah, very good. 275 times 24. So total monthly payments is going to be equal to the amount that you have to pay every month, which is going to be 275 multiplied by multiplied by 24, right?
24. Yes, sir.
What does that give us?
6,600.
2,075 times 24 is, would you say 6,600?
Yeah, I got that too.
Yes, sir. 6,600.
Yeah, that's correct. $6,600. Now, if you want BJC, you know that you have to show the working for this, right?
I did show the working.
So make sure I show the working. But that's just simple multiplication. Hopefully, it's simple for you and you know how to do it. All right, so we kind of get a glimpse of what's happening here. Sorry, let me go back here. So the idea is that so he has to when he goes to the place, he first have to bring $1,750, all right? And then over the span of 24 months, right? He's gonna have to pay every month $275 every month, right? And so after all that, it's the total amount that he paid over the 24 months is $6,600. Okay. Now we can clearly see that's more than 700. That's more than 7,000 already.
Yes.
Yeah, that's way more.
Yes.
That's way more. Okay, so of course the natural question is going to be, what is the cost of the car on the payment plan? And so that's going to be easy. We have to add what?
6,600 plus 1,750.
8,350.
Yeah, good. So the cost of the car on the payment plan is going to be equal to
$8,350.
so it's going to be equal to first is down payment, right?
Down payment plus total monthly payment.
Plus total monthly payments. Very good. Okay, and that's going to be equal to
8,350.
it's going to be equal to what was his down payment? His down payment was 1,750.
1,750.
Yeah, plus his total monthly payment
6,600.
6,600, and that equals to
8,350.
8,350.
350.
That's considerably more than 7,000. Okay, so there you see that even though there you see that clearly the paying it on a payment plan it costs you more in the long run. Okay, it costs you more in the long run. But persons still usually go on payment plans because they're like say for example you just got a new job and you need to get to work. You'd be like, by the time I try to save to get this $7,000, I ain't have no job. So better I go on this payment plan so that I could be able to at least have a ride to work, and pay this off.
You will always catch rhyme.
Okay, I mean, riding always fun, and people just leave you stranded, but it's up to you. I mean, it's your choice.
Taxi on gas.
I don't know. It's your choice. So the savings if he had paid cash. So how much would he have saved if he had paid
1,350.
1,350? So savings. So savings.
1,350.
All right. So savings if he had paid cash is going to be equal to what we got here. That was cost of the car on payment plan minus what?
7,000.
The cash
The
price, right?
down payment.
The cash price, right?
The cash
Can't be down
Yes, sir.
payment. Okay. And so it's gonna be equal to 8,350.
300 minus 7,000.
7,000, which is the cash price. Ooh, that's gonna be equal to
$1,350.
$1,350.
$50.
Okay, so that's all the question. All right, so how was it? Easy, difficult, familiar,
Easy. I just wish we
Eddie,
could
I
use this
understand.
in
Very
Excel.
easy.
Very. All right, good. I like
I
that y'all
understand.
said that was easy.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, it
so
was easy.
that's good. That's good. All right, so now let's go back to the more interesting ones. So we come back to these sort of problems, but this time we changing it up a bit. This time we including negatives. Okay, so let's see if we could do it. So hopefully you still remember how to do this. So let's do this one.
Yeah.
So the basic question is still the same. The basic question is still the same. We have to So the basic question is still the same. We have the general expression ax squared plus bx plus c, and we have to substitute these values into the expression and then factorize it. So I want you to try it on your own. And don't look at the screen. Just pretend that what I'm doing is nothing. It doesn't make sense, and you're wrong.
Interesting.
And so do it on your own, and then let me know what you get. Okay. Oh.
I'm done.
You're done? What you get?
Okay, after I factorize it, I got 2x open bracket x plus 1 close bracket plus 3 open bracket x plus negative 3 close bracket.
Say it again?
Slower?
Say it again. Yes, slow.
Okay. 2x open bracket x plus 1 close bracket plus 3 open bracket x minus minus 3 close bracket.
Okay. So I don't think that's right, Nancy.
You mean my factorization part's wrong?
The factorization. I don't think the factorization is right.
No. Well, I tried it your way. I don't understand that way, but I tried.
Yeah, I mean that's true. You tried. You did try. No
Yeah.
doubt, no doubt. Anyone else?
I stuck.
You stuck?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Batia,
Yeah.
quick question. If
Right.
the remember how you did the multiplication thing? If it don't like apply to your numbers, what do you do then?
What you mean?
Thank you. I stuck right there.
Yeah.
Cause I just simplified the 5 because they didn't have nothing in common like how you had the 5 and 2. So I just separated the 5 by breaking it to 2 plus 3 because there's 2 and there's a 3. So I did it that way because I couldn't factorize 5 and 3 like how you did it on side. So I don't know.
So you don't know how to continue. Anyone else?
Yeah, that way I stuck.
That's where I got my answer from, basically.
Yeah, I stuck there too.
Okay. Anyone else before I actually reveal the steps?
No, you can go ahead.
No, I need you to explain it because I stuck on it.
I need you to explain this one.
Okay, so this one is different from what we did. Okay, it's definitely different from what we did before. The way that we could do it. I mean, it's a similar idea. It's a similar idea. I must admit, it is a similar idea. Because just think heavy on this notion. Breaking up this like how else could you write 5x? And what's another way you could write 5x?
X,
2x plus 3x.
Think about how you could write 5x.
X to the 5th power.
Say it again.
X to the 5th power.
No. Like how could we
5x, 3x plus 2x.
2 plus 3x.
say it again?
2 plus 3x.
2 plus 3x.
I was saying 3 plus 2x.
No. Okay. All right. What I'm thinking, right, and this is the way okay, because remember, the only problem, the only new thing that we have is this 2 front. That's kind of where the problem is. Like here, if we look at what we had here, we didn't have no 2 in the front. Okay, we just had just x. The coefficient of x is 1, and so when the coefficient of x is 1, we could use this rule. You see what I'm saying? Because the coefficient in front of x squared rather was 1, so we could have used this rule easily. Here we don't have that. We have the coefficient of x is 2. Is there a way that we could deal with this question such that we could move this 2 so that the coefficient of x squared would just be 1. Is there something?
Divide.
Again?
Well,
Can you repeat what you want?
I'm saying, is there a way that we could multiply everything in this expression, right? Such that we could get rid of this 2 here. If you understand what I mean.
Can we add that with the next two? No.
Say it
You will
again.
multiply it by itself with a negative?
Put everything over 2.
Right.
I'm thinking, what if we could? All right, so like, okay, first of all, we need to get rid of this 2. So we know that we have to
Put everything over 2.
divide by 2. That's a fact. So that's one thing we have to do, because 2 divided by 2 is just x squared. And whatever we do to one term, we must do to every term. Okay, so that's true. So we could do that. But this wouldn't be right in the sense that you can't just impose a division on something. You can't do that. You can't impose a division on something like that. So the only thing you could do is you can say but that wouldn't make a difference either. If we say 10 over 10 though, if we say 10 over 10 and we multiply that by, that still wouldn't be right because that 2 would still leave a remainder.
Right.
Okay, that way none comes to mind that way yet, so I'm gonna stop to think about it. But the way that we have to do it is, I was gonna think about how we could do it that way, but I ain't gonna bother with that way. Let's just break up 5x, okay? And the way we could do that is we just have to say, 5x could be written as 6x minus what?
1.
Minus 1.
Minus x.
Minus that.
You agree?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So since we could write 5x as 6x minus x, then we're gonna use that idea to basically answer this question. So it's gonna be 2x squared minus x, sorry, so minus x plus 6x minus 3. Hopefully y'all see what I did there. Negative x plus 6x gives us what? Negative x.
You could do that over.
5x.
Yeah.
You have to do that over again.
You could do that, please.
All right. All we did was we put the 2x squared, didn't we? That's all we did, right? We put that back, and then we took 5x, right? And we wrote that as what? Negative x plus 6x, didn't we?
How did you get the negative x, Mr. Petit?
Because we know that 5x is 6x minus x.
Okay.
Oh, no.
So, Mr. Petit, you want to put x there, or you can't put the 5 there again?
No, you can't put the 5 there again because we're trying to break up 5x into negative x plus 6x. Like this, okay.
So I didn't put 6x minus x.
No, the reason why I don't want to do that is because I want to fix it like this. There's a specific reason I want to fix it like that. I want that negative x first. And it's the same thing. Negative x plus 6x. What is that? Isn't that 5x? Internalize that. Think about it.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir, it is.
That's
Yes.
5x.
Yes.
Because negative 1 plus 6 is what?
5.
5. Any questions on that before I move on?
No, sir.
Everyone understand how I got the
So
5x?
you write it back, but you just break down the 5.
Say it again?
I say, so you rewrite everything, but you just break down the 5x?
Yes. I rewrite everything, I just break down the 5x. Yes. Okay, so let me erase this. And so this is gonna be what? This is gonna be we could group this. Okay, we could group it.
So we subtracted just the x.
Now you all I don't know if you all wondering like how I knew that this is gonna be negative 1 and 6. I don't know if you all wondered that. Like how I knew to do it like that. Is like we use the same rule that we did before. The only difference is that so we still adding, okay, and we still multiplying. But this time we still ask the question, what could we add to get 5, to get the middle number 5? We still ask that question. But you all have to watch this carefully. Because the coefficient of this is greater than 1, we say, what can we multiply to get a number that is equal to 2 times 3? 2 times negative 3. Okay, and so what is 2 times negative 3? It's going to be what?
Negative 6.
What is it?
Negative 6.
What is 2 times negative 3?
-6.
Negative 6.
Negative 6. And so if you look carefully, what two numbers we could use? If we add it, we get 5, and if we multiply it, we get negative 6.
And 3.
3 and 2.
Two numbers I could use to get 5, and then when I multiply it, I get negative 6.
3 and 2.
And 3.
No, I gave it to you all. Negative 1 and 6. Negative 1 and 6. Isn't it? Because y'all sound quiet.
I don't really understand this one.
And do it again, please.
Like negative 1. What is negative 1 plus 6?
5.
5.
5.
Because think about it. If you have $6 and you owe someone $1, pay them back the dollar you owe them. How much you have left?
5.
5. Good. Now negative 1 times 6. A negative 1 times a positive 6 is what?
Negative.
Negative 6.
Negative 6.
Good. So that means that we're going to break down this 5 into negative 1, which is negative 1x, and positive 6x.
So I didn't use 3 and 2, Mr. Latif.
Why we didn't use 3 and 2? No, we can't use 3 and 2. Why we can't use 3 and 2? Because we have defined two numbers. When we add them, we get 5. when we multiply them, we get -6. If you use 3 and 2, yeah, you would get 5, but when you multiply them, you won't get -6.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Now it's important that this is different than the first one we did. Because the first one we did, we just said what two numbers we add, we get the middle number, and multiply, we get the number on the end. Now, you could do that if the coefficient of x is 1. But here, the coefficient of x is 2. Once the coefficient of x is greater than 1, you have to use this method where you multiply the 2 and the number at the end. Okay? Y'all understand the difference? Like,
Yes.
what I mean is, when we did this one, we just said, okay, what two numbers we could use to add to get 7, and then what two numbers we could use to add to get 10. We didn't say what two numbers we could use to multiply by that. No, we just said what two numbers we use to get 10. That's because the coefficient of here was 1. Okay? But once you have a coefficient greater than 1, then you have to say, hey, what two numbers you could do to add to get to 5, or two numbers you can multiply to get 2 times -3, which is 6, -6. Okay, so that's how that works. Okay, so after you already reach that point, then you say, okay, now we're gonna factorize by grouping. So we're gonna look at this individually, and then we're gonna look at this individually. And so we say, okay, what two terms, if we look at 2x squared and x, what could we factorize here? Like what two terms? And yeah, the x is common in both. What times x gives you 2x squared?
X.
No.
Repeat it again.
What
2x.
times? What times? Very good. 2x. So again, what times x gives me 2x?
2.
It's gonna be x times 2x squared. Okay, again, what times x gives me 2x squared is what I'm saying. Again, what times x gives me 2x squared? That's gonna be x times 2x. Okay? And then we're gonna minus what? Minus 1. The reason why we're gonna minus 1 is because we're saying what times x gives me x? Again, what times x gives me x? And x times 1 gives me x. Okay, so we close that bracket. Plus, then we go to this one, and then we say, what is common in both of these terms? 6x and 3. What's common?
3.
The 6 and the 3.
3.
3. So you're going to pull out the 3, and we say, what times 3 gives me 6x?
2.
2.
2. Very good.
2.
But 2x though, 2x. Very good. Wait. Let me be very careful now. We're gonna put that in blue. 2x. What times 3 gives me 3?
1.
1.
Very good. Do we see anything common or familiar here?
2x minus 1.
2x minus 1 is in both, right? And so we see that, if I were to highlight this one, you see that this here is the same thing that we have right there. Alright, and so that means that we can pull that out. And so we have, it's going to be equal to open bracket 2x minus 1. Close bracket. What? X plus what?
1, 3.
Plus
X
3.
plus 3, because we would be trying to get what's left. The x is left over and the 3 is left over. Okay, so x plus 3. All right, good. So that means that this question is entirely factorized. So easy, hard, difficult, familiar, unfamiliar.
In between.
In between. Anyone else? How was it? Y'all just quiet. I don't know.
We need more practice with that.
Oh, God.
It's a lot.
Yeah, my head hurting a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. Well, definitely more practice is needed. Okay. So don't worry. I was just like this when I was learning this for the first time. I just couldn't understand why my teacher was doing what he was doing. I just understand. I was like, why in the world are you doing that, and why you put that, and how you know that? It was crazy. It was crazy.
That's how we feel right now.
Yeah, but you get it over time. You get it. All of us feel it initially. Trust me, I was lost. I was a hard attack. And he would do examples and examples and examples and examples. Still didn't get it. Um, it happens over time. Over time and individual practice, you will get it. But I'm here
Yes.
just to give you an exposure and let you know that hey, this is coming on your exam, and to give you an introductory feel for it. Okay? So I don't expect you to to know everything now or to get everything now. Just appreciate what you could appreciate and understand what you could get. And then as you do more, then it'll open up to you as you do more. Okay? So don't feel bad if you don't understand everything I did. Okay, so let's continue. So that was a little more rigorous question. Let's go back to the easy peasy ones, just to make sure we have a balance.
That one was stressful.
Okay, let's go to the easy peasy ones. All right, so let's do this question now. All right, the graph below shows Ted's journey from Manoa to Bixby. Excuse me. Study the graph and answer the questions that follow. So let's study this graph first. So he's gonna move from, I don't know, they don't tell us what he's using to drive or to get around. But he's moving from Manoa to Bixby. So this is Ted. This is distance in miles, and this is the time that it takes. Okay, so starts off, it was 0 minutes. Then after 10 minutes, he moved 8 miles. You see that? After 10 minutes, he's moving. So this line that has this risen slope means that he's moving, constantly moving, and constantly moving, right? And so he's moving. And finally, after 10 minutes, he covered a distance of 8 miles. But what happened at 10 minutes? What did he decide to do?
He stopped.
He stopped.
Stop.
Or he probably rested for something, whatever, probably eat lunch, whatever. And then after a while, he start
3
moving
minutes.
again.
3 minutes later.
And then finally, he reached his destination after 20 minutes. So
20
in 20 minutes, he probably riding a motorbike. In 20 minutes, in 20 minutes, he he in 20 minutes he covered 18 miles. That's incredible. So the first easy peasy question is the following. So everybody should be following with this. By the way, if you haven't sent in any notes yet, please send in the notes that you have. Even though it's not complete, send in the notes that you have because I want to know that you're following. Okay? Alright, so the question is, how far is Manor from Bixby? How far is it?
18 miles.
18 miles.
18 miles.
So it's 18 miles because he started at 0 miles and he ended at 18 miles and that's where he stopped. Okay, and clearly the graphs have Bixby here. So we know that that's 18 miles. So the answer here is going to be 18 miles. Pretty easy, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I know you like these type of questions. So 18 miles. Like I say, math is easy, don't make it hard. So 18 miles. Okay, pretty easy. Next thing, that's just reading and interpreting, knowing what the graphs say and stuff like that. But you won't believe some people will get them questions wrong? As easy as that is, some persons will get that wrong.
Just take that and read it.
Right.
Yeah, because they think that, or sometimes they don't know how to read it too, you know? And so that's another thing. Next up, how long, so this is a question of time, right? So how long did the car stop? This is a very important question. You have to be paying attention with this one. Be careful. How long did the car stop?
3
So
minutes.
it's a car.
I mean, the vehicle.
So
it is a car. It is a car. They tell it's a car. Impossible. But I mean, that's possible. 18 miles.
3 minutes. 4 minutes.
I guess so. You know, that's possible.
Actually, 4 minutes. I think it is. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, so
3
you have
or
to be
4.
careful. So the idea is that you want to take. So you start from 0 and you go to 5, right? You wanna take it and break it down into subdivisions, equal subdivisions. So we want to know what one of these things represent. Okay, we want to know
minute?
what these, yeah. So from here to here, this seems like a minute. So let's see if this is 1. Let's say that this is 1. Then this is 2. Then this is 3. This is 4, and this is 5. Okay, so they separated into equal divisions of 1 minute. Okay, so that makes it so easy.
Yes.
Okay, so this is 1 minute, 2, 3, 4, and then the 5th one. Okay, so that means that from here to here, that's 1 minute. And then from here to here, because this is its rest or stopping phase, right? This is 1 minute. And from here to here, this is 2 minutes.
And 3
and
minutes.
From here to here, it's
3 minutes.
3 minutes. How you say 3 in Spanish again?
Tres.
Okay.
Tres.
Tres. Good. How you say it in French? Anyone know how to say it in French?
I don't know.
Trois. Trois.
Someone said
Trois.
Trois. Okay, good. Trois. Good. So 3 minutes. I hope you all telling me the right things now, cause
Yeah.
Very right. I know the Spanish one. I don't know the
Right. Spanish, not French.
3 minutes. Okay, good. All right. So 3 minutes. Make
It's
sure.
in Chinese it's sun.
Boy, we only could accept that by faith, because we ain't know.
I only know the Spanish one. I don't know the
All right. So
Yes, sun.
all right. So 3 minutes. Good. Now, how long did the journey last?
20 minutes.
Yeah. How long did the journey last? So
they don't take away where like how we stop.
including that, that's a part of the journey.
Okay.
So how long did the journey last? So if we look carefully, the journey started at 0 minutes, and then we continued on, time went on, and then finally he reached his destination. He covered 18 miles, and that is 20 minutes. Exactly 20 minutes. So 20 minutes. Good. 20 minutes. Next up, calculate the average speed of the entire journey, including stops. Excuse me. Calculate the average speed of the journey, including stops. So average speed has an interesting formula. Remember, average speed, that's gonna be equal to anyone know? Say it again.
That's distance.
Divided by time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So distance traveled divided by total time. And so we know that the distance traveled, how much is the distance that he traveled? They asked that question.
18 miles.
18 miles. Good.
18 miles.
It's 18 miles. And what was the total time?
20 minutes.
20 minutes.
20 minutes.
And that's gonna be equal to what is 18 divided by 20?
0.90.
Let's do something before we do it. I don't want it in minutes. I want it in hour. So 18 miles. What is 20 minutes written as in terms of hour and in terms of hour? All that is 20 divided by 60.
20 divided by 60. That's a 0.33.
Okay, so that's a third, right?
Yes.
A third. Okay, so it's gonna be a third of an hour. So let me write it properly. All right, okay, good. Now we have to focus. Now we have to divide 18 by 1 over 3. Okay, so be careful. Watch this now. You have to be careful with this. It's going to be 18 over 1 divided by 1 over 3. What does that equal? Well,
Yes, 18.
still gonna be equal to 18 over 1. Remember, when we are dividing, we gotta do what to the sign?
Making the multiplication sign.
The multiplication.
Make it a multiplication sign, and then after we make it a multiplication sign, we have to do what?
Flip it.
Flip it.
3 over 1.
Yeah, so it's gonna be
3 over 1.
It's gonna be 3 over 1. And so what is 18 times 3?
54.
54.
Good. So it's gonna be 54. So that means that this average speed is gonna be 54 miles per hour.
Okay.
me write that properly. Miles per hour. I just didn't want to have miles per minute. You know, not that it's wrong, it's just, in fact, that's why this is for 3 points. Because you have to do a little conversion now. Miles per hour. This is a slash, by the way. Miles per hour. Okay, so are we good?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
All right. All right, 50 is traveling 55 miles per hour. That's pretty decent because a car could travel at that speed. So that is not too outrageous. Okay. But that's fast. 60 miles almost. Okay, so you probably ain't had no traffic because if you try to do that in Nassau around about 3, 4 o'clock, you ain't gonna make it far.
It's for 3 hours.
Easy, 3 hours. Wow, it's 8 o'clock. Wow, could you believe it? Could you believe it? It's 8
I
o'clock.
saw you turn at the clock too. Exactly when we finished that question.
Wow, that's probably Providence telling us. Okay, that's enough for maths. Okay, so send in the maths notes for me. We're gonna move on to English. I'm really excited for English class. I was excited for English class. I like Mondays and Wednesdays, particularly for
Okay, so we doing them thing again, right?
yeah, we're gonna do another reading comprehension exercise.
Yeah.
And then on Wednesday we're gonna move from those reading comprehension exercises and do a writing and grammar exercise. So that should be nice. All right, so turn in the maths notes. Let me see them. Okay. All right, so send in the maths notes. Thank you, Miss Samaya Reed, for sending in the notes already. Thank you, Miss Joseph. Thank you, Miss Reckley, Cooper, Alvano, Avernick, Lionel, Janice, Pennerman, Natalia. I haven't seen no notes from you. Ricardo, thank you. John, Monique, thank you. Deshaun, thank you. Dylan, thank you. Sean, I don't see any notes from you. Sean Collins, I don't see any notes from you. Katara Bryce, I don't see any notes from you. All right, so make sure send in the notes for me, please. All right. Okay, so we're moving on to English language. The good stuff. Let me hurry up, go there before time runs out on us. All right, so hopefully we have a good read tonight. Miss Nixon.
Hi.
You ready to read?
Sure.
Sure, okay, good. This is a short read. And when I looked at it, I was like, why, this way more scientific.
Mr. Petit.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Now,
Go ahead. Go ahead. You say never mind?
I said never mind.
All right. So, yeah, I'm gonna read up to 30. So I can let you take it from 30 and onwards. All right.
Okay.
But please, people, please bear with me and her. These are scientific, what they call them? Scientific nomenclature, or basically scientific names that they use for these things. And trust me, I used to them. And so we're gonna plow through though, and see how best we can understand what's happening. So this is gonna be the last 10. And like I said, next week, we're gonna, not next week, Wednesday, after these questions, we're gonna go to the writing and language tests. So that should be nice. Can't wait for that. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so let's go. So questions 42 to 52 are based on the following passage and supplementary material. When they say supplementary material, they're referring to this table. All right. So this passage is adapted from Richard J. Sharp and Lisa Hayden. Honey bee colony collapse disorder is possibly caused by a dietary pyrethrum deficiency. Copyright 2009 by Elsevier Limited. Colony collapse disorder is categorized by the disappearance of adult worker bees from hives. Honeybees are hosts to the pathogenic large ectoparasitic mite, Varroa destructor, Varroa mites. These mites feed on bee hemolymph, or blood, and can kill bees directly or by increasing their susceptibility to a secondary infection with fungi, bacteria, or viruses. Little is known about the natural defenses that keep the mite infections under control. Pyrethrums are a group of flowering plants which include Chrysanthemum coccineum and Chrysanthemum cinereifolium, Chrysanthemum marcali, and the related species. These plants produce potent insecticides with anti-mite activity. The naturally occurring insecticides are known as pyrethrums. A synonym for the naturally occurring pyrethrums is pyrethrin, and synthetic analogs of pyrethrums are known as pyrethroids. In fact, the human mite infestation known as scabies, Sarcoptes scabi, is treated with a tropical pyrethrum cream. We suspect that the bees of commercial bee colonies, which are fed monocrops, are nutritionally deficient. In particular, we postulate that the problem is a diet deficient in anti-mitoxins, pyrethrums, and possibly other nutrients which are inherent in such plants. Without at least intermittent feeding on the pyrethrum-producing plants, bee colonies are susceptible to mite infestation, which can become fatal, either directly or due to a secondary infection of immunocompromised or nutritionally deficient bees. This secondary infection can be viral or fungal and may be due to one or more pathogens. So you can take it from here, Ms. Nixon.
Okay. Start at line 30, right?
Start from in addition.
Okay. In addition, immunocompromised or nutritionally deficient bees may be further weakened when commercially produced insecticides are introduced into their hives by beekeepers in an effort to fight mite infestation. We further postulate that the proper dosage necessary to prevent mite infestation may be better left to the bees, who may seek out or avoid pyrethrum containing plants depending on the amount necessary to defend against mites and the amount already consumed by the bees, which in higher doses, could be potentially toxic to them. Can you turn on some, please?
No problem.
This hypothesis can best be tested by a trial wherein a small number of commercial honeybee colonies are offered a number of pyrethrum producing plants, as well as the typical bee food source such as clover, while controls are offered only the clover. Mice could then be introduced to each hive with notes made as to the choice of the bees and the effects of the mite parasites on the experimental colonies versus control colonies. It might be beneficial to test wild type honeybee colonies in this manner as well, in case there could be some genetic difference between them that affect the bees' preferences for pyrethrum producing flowers.
Okay, thank you. And so here we have the table. This is pathogen occurrence in bee colonies with and without colony collapse disorder. So this side represents the percentage affected by the pathogen. And here we have the pathogens listed: viruses, IAPV, KBV, the fungi, Nosema apis, Nosema ceranae, all four pathogens, and they tell us the colonies with colony collapse disorder, 83, 100, 90, 100. Colonies without colony collapse disorder, and the percentages thereof. So this table shows for colonies with colony collapse disorder and for colonies without colony collapse disorder, the percentage of colonies having honeybees infected by each of four pathogens and by all four pathogens together. Okay, so I want someone to tell me, I want to hear from you all on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being with 1 being you completely do not understand the passage, and 10 being you understand the passage very well. On a scale of 1 to 10, how well do you understand the passage?
1.
Where did they find this question?
0.3.
0.3.
I give it a nice 3 or 2. Because since with them words was in it.
Okay.
What?
Yeah, no, I would say the same thing.
I say a
Pardon?
4.
Say 4.
That was a 3 too.
That's a 2 or 3. One of them.
3. Okay. All right. So let's start off with words. Okay, so let's start off with some words that could be used as key, vocabulary words. I like this one, susceptibility. When we say susceptibility, what do we mean? Susceptibility. Especially in this case. It says, these feed on... Say it again. Susceptibility.
Like accept?
Yeah, susceptibility, that's like how likely you are to get something, right? Your susceptibility to it, right? So if I say that you are more susceptible to something, that means that you are more likely to get it. Like coronavirus, right? If I say that you are more susceptible to it, that means that it's more likely that you could get it. If I say that you are less susceptible, that means that what?
You won't
less
be
chance
most
of getting it.
likely.
Yeah,
You have a less chance on catch.
yeah, you have a less chance, right? Okay, this is not a dictionary definition. This is just I'm being rigorous. I'm just being informal with my definition. But as loosely speaking, susceptibility just means how likely you are to get something, right? If we go back to this, where are we? Okay, sorry about that. All right, so they define what hemolymph is. That's blood.
Blood.
pathogenic. Okay, pathogenic.
Question: the homogen blood, can it be like, can it refer to like human blood as well, or just could be used only when you're referring to bees?
Definitely only bees. This is hemolymph. That's like bee blood. Okay, right. Pathogenic. Okay, so it's very important, and persons ask me, oh, why we need biology? Why we need da 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 da? Like, the thing is this: you always need an introductory level understanding of certain things because words in English connect. Like, pathogenic is from the word pathogens. And because if you know what pathogens are, then you know what pathogenic means. Anyone know what pathogens are?
It's like something that carries diseases.
Okay, yeah, these stuff carry diseases.
Types of disease.
Yeah, they cause disease. Okay, that could either be a bacteria, that could either be a virus, right? Stuff like that. So pathogens carry disease, they help with spreading disease, and they help with causing disease. All right. So that's what we mean by pathogens. Moving forward. So since we know what pathogens are, we could easily break down the first line. It says honeybees are hosts to the pathogenic large ectoparasitic mite. Now, what is it saying? That these mites are the parasites that feed on the honey, the bees.
The bees.
Okay, because it's saying that the honeybees are the hosts. You know what I mean when you're the host?
Yes, sir.
Like, not like, not like, not like house. I don't know about house. Like host. Like, you are the one.
Vessel?
Say it again.
Would it be like a vessel or something, like a carrier?
Like, no, you are the one that
Inhabit some.
the one that the parasites feeds on.
Right, so you're the main.
Your habitat.
Yeah, they feed off you. So like, many of us have worms in us, and so we are the hosts. They suck from us, right? It's kind of yucky thought, right? But it's the truth. Like, if you have worms inside of you, you're the host, and they're feeding off of you, right? That's what the parasite does. So, but the person who give the parasite food, is the host. Like, they feed off us. They suck the nutrients from our, from our from our structures. And so, same thing for the bees. The bees have parasites that bothering them, and the parasites that is bothering them is called virodestructor. Okay, and it kind of makes sense because it destroys, you know, um, and they begin to tell us what these virodestructor does, right? These pathogens, these parasites, the parasite is, right? That's stuff that feed off other things. And
Yes, sir.
so these mites feed on bee blood. Kind of weird, right? They feed on bee. Now they use the word hemolymph, right? And you know what lymph is in the body. Lymph is a fluid, but it's hemolymph. So it feed on bee blood, and it can kill bees directly. So two ways these mites could be disastrous for the bees. Number one, it could either kill the bee directly, or what else could it do other than killing the bee directly? What's another way that it could damage the bees?
Increase their stability with infections with fungi.
Increase their what? Don't use the word in the passage. Don't use the word in the passage. Use something else. Like, put in your own words.
Increase their chance.
Increase their
risk of like,
yeah.
or Increase
Yeah.
the risk of them getting an infection or
Yeah,
something
increase
similar?
the risk of them getting the infection. So
Right.
so these parasites, these mites, when they feed on the bees, either they can kill the bee directly, or they're gonna increase the likelihood, or they're gonna increase the risk, or they're gonna increase the chance or the odds of the bees getting another infection. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, so you see how easy that was to unpack that, right? Once you know what you're doing, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So little is known about the natural defenses that keep the mite infections under control. So this is saying, and I like this, right? Because, and that's why it's important to read. It's important to read this part, right? This part is telling you where this came from. Now, this came from, or this was produced by Elsevier. Anyone know what Elsevier?
No, sir.
Yes, yeah, it's important that you know that company, right? Let me just tell you what that is. Let me just show you what that is. It's like a big company, or it's really a place where you can get a lot of scientific journals from, and I like Elsevier. I just get a lot of stuff from that. So Elsevier is a place where it's a publishing house. It's a place where you get all type of professional research articles and stuff like that about all sorts of stuff about all. If you want to know like the cutting edge information about health, cutting edge information about solar, cutting edge information about all sorts of any topic you could think of, Elsevier is the place to go. And so for those who go into college, when you go to college and you want to quote something, you can't use Google. You can't say Google say, no. You have to go into places like Elsevier and get your research articles. And when I was in university, I quoted from Elsevier, documents from there. So knowing this name and understanding where these things come from, it helps. Okay, so the reason why it helps is because once you see Elsevier, you already know, okay, this is going to be complicated. This is going to be kind of scientific. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So that's what Elsevier is responsible for. So this is coming from some research that they did. But it's important to understand their first paragraph. In their first paragraph, they are telling you why they have the study, or why they are going through the study. Anyone can know or can identify which line in the first paragraph tells us their reason for going through the study. Or identifies the problem at hand that they are trying to fix.
The carbon collapse disorder.
I mean, in the first 5
Oh.
sentences, in this paragraph alone.
Would it be little is known about the natural defenses?
Yes, that's what they said. They said, yeah. Little is known about the natural defenses that keep the mite infections under control. They're saying we don't know much about that. And so right there, you could look at that in a sense as their thesis. Like, we don't know much about this, so we're gonna do research to determine how these bees keep these infections low, like, or under control. Right? That's a neat question, right? How in the world they do it? You know what I mean? Okay. If I continue doing this, we won't get to the question. So let's fast forward, right? I wish we had enough time to, really go through every line, and really, do it. But the most I'd say is I would underline some key vocabulary words that if I was a student doing this, I would want to figure out. So let me just do that for you. If you don't know these words, please look them up. And for homework, send me them, okay? the definitions to them. So, deficient. You need to know what deficient means. I like this one. Postulate. You know what postulate means? Anyone know? Postulate.
No, sir.
Like
No, sir.
postulate means this is our
Like a
educated
function or
guess.
something.
This is our educated guess. This is our hypothesis. All right. Inherent. I like this word. Intermittent.
Postulate. Mr. Petit.
Go ahead.
Like how they use postulate. Are they saying that we assume that the problem is a diet deficient?
Yeah, you could use the word
They're
assume.
using that word as assumption.
You could use assume. You could use assume. Assume is, I mean, assume is in the closest thing that I would say. It's more like when you say postulate, it's more like it is an assumption, right? But it's more of a declaration. Like this is what we put forth as our guess. You know what I mean? That's what they're saying. So you actively putting this forth as, hey, this is what we think it is. Okay. They like this word again, susceptible. I love this one, immuno compromise. That's two words in one. What two words is come together for this one? Two words.
Compromise and immune.
Compromise.
Compromise.
So the definition is right there in front of you. The immune
Yes.
system is compromised.
Compromise.
Okay, or we know what compromise means, broken, malfunction, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay, postulate dosage, infestation, containing, defend, potentially. All right, good. Hypothesis are the same thing as postulate. Experimental, beneficial, preferences. Okay, genetic, pathogen. What else? We have
You have
synthetic.
a few, backup, yeah.
Synthetic. Synthetic means artificial. All right.
Yeah. In about line 9, 10.
Yeah, synthetic. Infestation. Yeah. Yeah, I think those are potent. Oh yeah, potent. Potent. Okay, so if you don't know these definitions, look them up and send me a list of them and their definitions.
What about analogs?
Analogs. Analogs. Where analogs is?
Line 15.
Line 15.
Line 15. 50.
On the side of sin.
1-5.
Inside of synthetic.
Analog. Oh, analogs. Yeah. Good. Okay, good.
What about the words in line 10?
10. No, they're not common words.
Okay.
Don't try to.
Necessities.
Don't try to. No, they just know that these words are words that are scientific names or something. You don't have to memorize them. Even the people who write them can't remember them themselves.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, no one knows them all like that. It ain't common. The only thing that you have to accept is that, okay, this is a scientific name that they're doing. The scientific name usually has two parts to it, the genus and the species. For my biology students, the first letter of the first word is capitalized. The first letter of the second word
That's like some
is not. Pardon?
Can you scroll up, please?
And everything is italicized. So that's how we usually write scientific names. Okay.
The genus and species.
Genus and the species.
Scroll up, please.
Scroll up some more. Okay, so let's get right into the passage. Oh, one more word. Occurrence. Good. Okay, so let's see what these questions are saying. Crossing our fingers, hoping that they're easy. Okay. So give me one moment, please.
You started from 42?
Yeah, we're starting from 42. We're supposed to start at what? Yeah, it's from 42 to 52. Alright, so write down the questions and write down the answer. You don't have to write all the options, but just write down the question and write down the answer and send it to me. Okay. Okay, number 42. Okay, who's this coming in here? Destiny. Okay, so right, so let's do this. So this is going to be alright. How do the words can, may, and could in the third paragraph, that's lines 19 to 41, help establish the tone of the paragraph? Right? We know what tone is, right?
Yes, sir.
Tone is basically what the author wants the reader to get. Like, how is the author speaking? Like, what is their tone? Like, do they have a
Their
authoritative?
attitude?
Yeah, more like that. Like their approach to the subject, and like how they want you to feel, and how they are conveying themselves, right? And so that's what tone is. That's basically the sense that, like, a general sense that you get and what the author is trying to portray in their writing. So is it A, they create an optimistic tone that makes clear the authors are hopeful about the effects of their research on colony collapse disorder? They create a dubious tone that makes clear the authors do not have confidence in the usefulness of the research described. So these are also vocabulary words. When we say optimistic, we mean what?
Hopeful that something will happen.
Positive, right? Dubious.
About something.
Yes, sir. Dubious? What do you mean by dubious?
First time hearing that word.
Like doubting, right? Or hesitating or stuff like that. Like, they create a dubious tone that makes clear that the authors do not have no confidence. They create a tentative tone. Anyone know what tentative means?
Intense?
Like, if I say that, like, if I do on a schedule, right, and I say this is the
Not sure.
Very good. This is the tentative schedule, right? And I set the schedule up. You know what that means, right? When you have tentative in front of that.
No.
That means y'all see this all the time.
Not sure, not certain.
Subject to change, right? So
Yeah,
if something is
Yeah.
yeah, so if something is tentative, it's subject to change, right? So if you see them pull out a schedule and they say tentative in front of it, just know that they could change it at any notice. All right. So tentative tone. They create a tentative tone that makes clear that authors suspect, right, but do not know that their hypothesis is correct. Mm. 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 They create a critical tone that makes clear the authors are skeptical of the claims that the pyrethrum are inherent in monocrops. Which is it? A, B, C, or D?
C?
Yeah, clearly C.
C? I choose C.
Yeah, you don't know that long.
Clearly C. Because can, may, could, like, remember, this is a scientific research, so they're they're not gonna state they're not gonna say it will, it should, or whatever. Not until they do the research and until they conclusively show that it's the case. So before then, they use word it could do it, it may, it can, but never it will, it must, or whatever. No. So they're just trying to make you get the sense that, hey, we just got allow the research to tell us. You understand what I'm saying? All right, in line 42, the authors state that a certain hypothesis can best be tested by trial. Based on the passage, which of the following is a hypothesis, the authors suggest. Yes, ma'am?
You could go back outside to finish right answer.
Okay. In line 42, the authors the authors state that a certain hypothesis can be best tested by trial. Based on the passage, which of the following is a hypothesis, the author suggests be tested in a trial. Based on line 42. Is it A, honeybees are exposed to both pyrethrum and mites are likely to develop a secondary infection by a virus, bacterium, or fungus? Beekeepers who feed their honeybee colonies a diet of a single crop need to increase the use of insecticides to prevent mite infections. C, the honeybee diet includes pyrethrum results in the honeybees colonies that are more resistant to mite infections. Or D, humans are more susceptible to viral mites as a result of consuming nutritionally deficient food crops. So which is the hypothesis that they want to test?
Would it be C?
C.
Diet.
Say it again.
Would it be C?
I think it's C.
Yeah, it's definitely C. But let's go to line 42 to show that it's C. Or, let's pretend like we don't know the answer is C yet. And let's see if we could allow the passage to show us, right? So, okay, so here they say, we further postulate that proper doses necessary to prevent mite infection may be better left to the bees, who may seek out or avoid pyrethrum containing plants depending on the amount necessary to defend against mites and the amount already consumed by bees, which, listen carefully, which in higher doses could be potentially toxic to them. And they continue, this hypothesis can be tested by a trial wherein a small number of commercial honeybee colonies are offered a number of pyrethrum producing plants, as well as a typical bee food source such as clover, whatever. Mites could then be introduced to each hive and note made as to the choice of bees and the effects of mite parasites on experimental colonies versus control. So they're saying, hey, we could test our hypothesis. What we're gonna do is we're gonna get a small number of these bees, right? And of course, you can't get too much. It's only a sample you need, and you're gonna give a certain amount, the pyrethrum, okay, and you're gonna see based on the ones who have who got pyrethrum, right, in their diet, compared to the one who didn't get pyrethrum in their diet, like which one was able to keep the mite infestation higher or lower. You understand what I'm saying? So if you find that the more of the bees who ate pyrethrum, the less the infestation was, and compared to those who didn't have the pyrethrum, they had more infestation. What could you say about pyrethrum? And you're quiet.
Let's repeat that.
I am going to look at
Please.
Pardon?
You could repeat you saying, but the more pyrethrum or something like that.
Yeah. So what they're saying is, so okay, let's read the title. Honeybee colony collapse disorder is possibly caused by what? A dietary pyrethrum deficiency. Like think about that. They're saying that, hey, we believe that the reason why these honeybees their colonies are being destroyed is because they're not having enough pyrethrum, right? Like they having a deficiency in pyrethrum. Okay. So they say, okay, we're gonna do a test and we're gonna give some honeybees pyrethrum and give the other ones, don't give them no pyrethrum. And if we find that the ones who had pyrethrum, they ain't get much infected, and the ones who didn't have pyrethrum, they get infected, what could we say about pyrethrum?
It helps them to not get affected or something.
Yes, exactly. It helps them not to get infected. Okay? So that's what they say. This hypothesis can be tested by a trial where a small number of bees are offered a number of pyrethrum producing plants, while controls are offered only clover. That means none of the the other ones, the ones who want to control, like the ones who, when we say control, we mean you have two groups: the one who getting the pyrethrum and the one who's not getting the pyrethrum. And so you feed all two of them. Go ahead. Someone had a question. Anyway, you feed one group pyrethrum.
Oh, I have a question.
Go ahead.
What is pyrethrum again?
Okay, pyrethrum is something that they get. Okay, they said it there. It's a group of flowering plants, which include and these plants are potent in insecticides with anti-mite activity. Like they're saying that these plants help to fight against the mites. You see what I'm saying? So if the bee eat more of it, obviously they're gonna be better able to fight against these parasites as opposed to the bees who didn't get it at all. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So that's the idea. And so what they're trying to test is that a honeybee diet that includes pyrethrum would result in a honeybee colonies that are more resistant to mite infections. And that's what they're trying to test. That, hey, if we give them pyrethrum, they can be better able to defend themselves against the parasites, these mite infestations. Okay? All right. So number 44. Which choice best provides evidence to answer the previous question? That'll be D. 24, lines 24 to 48. All right, number 45. So the passage most strongly suggests that beekeepers attempt to fight mite infestation with commercially produced insecticides have what unintentional effect? Now, what do we mean by unintentional?
It's not on purpose.
Not meant
Not on purpose.
Yeah, not on purpose. Yeah.
Unintentional.
It's not on purpose. Yeah, it's not on purpose. It's not what they intended, right? So, okay, so they're saying, okay, so we know that the bees they get hurt by these mites. And so the farmers say, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna use insecticides, kind of to, spray the insecticides on these hives so that the bees could be free from these mites. At least that's what the beekeepers want to do. But when they do that, when they spray these insecticides, it does something. But of course, it does something bad. But of course, that's not what the beekeeper's intentions was. The beekeeper's intentions in using the insecticides was to do what? Was their intention in using the insecticides?
To try and get them.
To fight the mite.
To fight the mites.
To prevent diseases.
Yeah, to prevent the mites, right? But what else happened? What unintentional thing happens in them trying to get rid of the mites? What else happens? Is it they increase certain mite populations? B, they kill off some beneficial forms of bacteria? C, they destroy bees' primary source of food? Or is it D, they further harm the health of some bees?
They further harm the
D.
health of
I
some
think it's D.
Think it's D? All right, so let's go to line 31. Okay, let's go to line 31. It says, in addition, listen here, immunocompromised or nutritionally deficient bees may what? Further be what? Weakened when commercially produced insecticides are introduced. You see that? So
Yes, sir.
even though the farmers are trying to do their best in, trying to get rid of the insects, they actually further harm the health of some of their bees.
Yeah, if I said D.
They actually further harm it by using these insecticides. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So which lines best provide evidence to this?
C.
It's gonna be C. Good. Okay. We have about 3 more to go. No, we don't have 3 more to go. We have, child. We have, okay, so let's move. All right. Interesting, right? This is the same question someone asked before. As used in line 35, postulate most nearly means that A, to make an unfounded assumption. Okay. B, to put forth an idea or claim. C, to question a belief or theory. Or D, to conclude based on firm evidence.
A.
B.
Make an unfold assumption.
Can we see the line?
I think it's D.
Say it again.
It's B.
Okay,
Can we read the line before we make the
okay, so they want us to read 935. Very good. I like that. I like that you want to see what the passage says before you make your conclusion. That's good. All right, so let's see it. We further postulate that the proper doses necessary to prevent mite infestation may be better left to the bees, who may seek out or avoid pyrethrum containing plants, depending on the amount necessary to defend against mites and the amount already consumed by the bees.
D.
So someone's still saying
B.
D.
B as in boy. B.
So let me tell you why it cannot be. I'm going to explain why it cannot be D. Okay, it cannot be D. The reason why it cannot be D is because they use the word conclude. Okay. We only in line 35. They are not concluding anything. All right. And they don't have firm evidence for nothing yet. You see what I'm saying? So it cannot be D. Okay. Question a belief or theory. No, they're not questioning nothing. I don't know if y'all was really paying attention to when that lady asked the question. She said, assumption. Can it be assumption? And I said, yeah, but then I said, but what's really happening is that they are really putting forth or declaring something, right? So they're not making an unfounded assumption. They're really putting forth an idea.
Let's be put forward an ideal. Okay.
All right, so they're putting forward an idea. All right. All right. Okay, so number 48. The main purpose of the fourth paragraph, it's lines 42 to 50, is to summarize the results of an experiment that confirm the author's hypothesis about the role of the clover in the diets of wild-type honeybees. Is it B? Propose an experiment to investigate how different diets affect commercial honeybee colonies' susceptibility to mite infection. Is it C? Provide a comparative nutritional analysis of the of the honey produced by the experimental colonies and by the control colonies? Or is it D? Predict the most likely outcome of an unfinished experiment summarized in the third paragraph?
We gotta look in the fourth paragraph.
We have
Need B.
I think
So
it's B.
let's look at the fourth paragraph and see what's happening.
42.
42. Okay. 42. This is 45. 40. So this is 40.
Start at the hypothesis.
Yeah, start.
At we.
42. 1, 2. This hypothesis right now. This hypothesis. 42 to what? 42 to, when they say
42 to 50.
42 to 50, okay. So they're
42 to
really,
50.
so they're really talking about this.
Yes, sir.
So let's read it. This hypothesis can be tested by a trial wherein a small number of commercial honeybee colonies are offered a number of pyrethrum-producing plants, as well as a typical bee food source such as clover, while controls are offered only clover. Mites would then be introduced to each hive with note made as to the choice of bees and the effects of the mite parasites on the experimental colonies versus control colonies. What are they doing?
Proposing an experiment.
Introducing.
What are they doing? They're saying how their hypothesis can be what?
That's tested.
Can be tested.
Right? Be tested.
So they are proposing an
Experiment.
Experiment.
Okay. They're saying this is how we can propose, this is how we can go about it, doing this.
Okay.
So it's B. All right. All right. Number 49. Okay. An unstated assumption made by the authors about clover is that A, the plants do not produce pyrethrums. B, are members of the Chloranthium genus. C, are located near wild-type honeybee colonies. Or B, will not be a good force for honeybees in the control colonies. Boy, everybody's silent on this one. Silent is in the house.
I'm not sure.
D? I think D.
You think D? All right. So let's go to clover, right? So it's important. I don't know if you all understand what's happening in the experiment. Maybe if you understand what's happening in the experiment, you could easily understand what they're talking about. So the idea is the following. So you have two groups of bees. So you have the control. Let me put this one in. You have the control group. So the control. Now when we say control group, that's like a biology term. All that means is that this is the term, this is the group that we use, who we don't, we leave them as is. That means we don't apply nothing to them. We just let them be so that we only use them to compare them to our experimental group. So you have the control group of bees, right? The control group. These ones, we're not gonna do nothing fancy with them. We're just gonna let them be, all right? So this is the control group, and so we have these different bees. So these are different bees. They're a part of the control group. And they are going to, remember, we don't touch the control group. They're going to be eating a typical bee diet. A typical bee diet. Nothing fancy about them. They're eating a typical bee diet. Okay? That does not contain what? That does not contain what? Pyrethrum, right?
Pyrethrum.
So no pyrethrum in the what?
Control
In the typical control group, in the typical bee diet, right? So we don't care about them. We're not doing nothing special with them. They are control group. We're not giving them nothing special, nothing extra. They get no pyrethrum. Now we have the experimental group.
Mr. T.
Yes, ma'am.
So we just use them to compare them to the set that do have pyrethrum.
Yes, good. So we have the experimental group. And the experimental group, we believe that pyrethrum have something special in it. We believe that pyrethrum, if we give the bees pyrethrum, something interesting is going to happen. And so the experimental group is the ones that's going to be given the what?
Pyrethrum.
The pyrethrum. Okay. So these are the ones that have
pyrethrum.
Pyrethrum. Okay. So they're going to be given that, right?
Pyrethrum.
Okay. So whatever we feed the people in the experimental group, whatever we feed them, we know that it has pyrethrum in it. And whatever we feed, pyrethrum. And whatever we feed the control group, we know that it does not have pyrethrum in it, right?
Yes, sir.
Good. All right. So with that in mind, let's go back to our question. So notice, right? Notice what the control group is given. They said that mites, okay. It says that while controls, that means the control group, are offered only what?
Clovers.
Only clover. So what can we say about clover?
They don't have pyrethrum.
Exactly. Clover doesn't have pyrethrum. Because if clover had pyrethrum, we wasn't going to give it to these bees in the control group. See what I'm saying?
Right.
Yes, sir.
All right. And so if we go back to the question says, what is an unstated, now they didn't tell us this, but we using our brains, we know, what is an unstated assumption made by the authors about clover?
Do not produce pyrethrum.
Yeah, do not produce pyrethrum.
Right.
Okay. The reason why D would be automatically wrong because it says it will not be a good food source for honeybees in the controls. But that's what they give them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah. But A is the correct answer. All right, number 50. Wow, it's 2 minutes too. Would you all allow me to finish it? I only have like 3 more questions now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. You all have been very gracious to me these days. On Mondays and Wednesdays. Thank you. All right. Based on the data in the table, in what percent of the colonies with colony collapse disorder were the honeybees affected by all 4 pathogens? So listen to that carefully.
B.
Based on the data in the table, in what percentage of colonies with colony collapse disorder were the honeybees infected by all 4 pathogens? So let's
B.
go.
77%.
Okay, let's go. Let's see. Let's go to the table.
Yeah.
So colonies with colony collapse disorder, all 4 pathogens was 77%. So it's B. Okay.
Is that B or D as in David?
77.
B as in
B.
dog. All right. So, sorry, B as in
You
boy.
said B as
B
in
as in
dog?
boy. B as in boy.
B as in boy.
What though?
You can tell I tired. Oh my goodness. I
No,
can't believe
Mr.
I said
PT,
that.
you need to go sleep.
I thought I had something. I was like, what?
I was like, what is this?
B as in dog.
B as
What?
in dog. That was a test. I was just testing to see if y'all was awake.
Nah.
The biggest test I ever saw.
Nah, that was a failure.
I was making sure y'all was awake. Okay, based on the data in the table, which of the 4 pathogens infected the highest percentage of honeybee colonies without, so we have to look at the ones without colony collapse disorder. So which one of these pathogens infected the honeybees without colony collapse disorder the most? All right, so let's look at the table. So we're looking at this side. This is the ones without colony collapse disorder. Which one has the most? Which one infected the most?
I mean, Nosema carini.
Oh, yeah. It's there. It's this one.
I was saying KB.
Yeah, it's 81.
81.
Yeah, so it's as the highest. So Nosema carani or serrani, this one infected the colonies without colony collapse disorder the most. Okay. All right.
How do I pronounce that?
I don't know. I just making it up as I go. Just trying to find the closest thing. I'm familiar with that term. So it's Nosema
D.
serrani. D. All right. Last but by no means least, do the data in the table, or does the data in the table provide support for the author's claim that infection with viromites increase a honey's susceptibility to secondary infections? Is it A? Yes, because the data provide evidence that the infection of a pathogen caused by the colonies to undergo colony collapse disorder. Yes, because for each pathogen, the percentage of colonies infected is greater for colonies with colony collapse disorder than for colonies without colony collapse disorder. No, because the data does not provide evidence about bacteria as a cause of colony collapse disorder, or no, because the data do not indicate whether the honeybees had been infected with the mites.
Looks like B.
I would say.
Yeah.
I would say B.
You say B?
Yes, sir.
Okay. For the sake of time, let me just tell you the answer is D.
Wow.
No.
No.
I thought it was
Wow.
Yeah, it's not. It's D. No data. The data does not indicate whether the honeybees had been infected with the mites, does it? No. Look at it. Where does it tell you that the honeybees have been infected by the mites? All it says is like the data discusses pathogen occurrence in honeybee colonies, but it includes no information. It includes no information as to whether these honeybees were infected by the mites. So because the table does not suggest mites infested the honeybee colonies, No conclusions. We can't make no conclusions
Oh yeah.
as to whether the mites increase, right? So we have to say D for that one. Okay, so the correct answer for that one is D.
Well, you get us on that one.
Yeah, that one.
I wasn't expecting that one.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was between A and B.
A and
It
B,
really
yeah.
more B.
You expect the table to correlate with their claim, but it doesn't.
I thought it was C, but
Okay. So with that in mind, we end. Only had you all 4 minutes over. Send in the notes for math and also send in the notes for English. Please do not forget that we have class on tomorrow at 6 p.m. And so I'll see you at 6 p.m. tomorrow for Spare Life. If you have any questions, you can stay back and I'll entertain them. But if not, have a wonderful night.
Okay. All right. Can you scroll back up, please, so I can
yeah.
All right, have a good night. One moment, my dear.
This is Petit. I'm Petit.
Yes, ma'am.
You could send me the video,
Yes, I will send the video. I'll send it tomorrow though. Once I upload it, I'll send it tomorrow.
we have any homework?
No, yes, the homework is to look at the vocabulary words I gave you and definitions of them.
Okay.
Okay. How far up to go?
I think that was the second question. I just want to take the picture so I can write them over.
Okay.
Okay, you can scroll down.
Scroll down. Down. This is Lashima, right?
Lashika, yes sir.
Lashika, okay.
Yeah, my
This
first time.
This is your first class,
Yes,
right?
Yes, sir.
Man, you fit right in.
Yes, sir.
Like you've been here all along.
I'm not as rusty as I thought I was.
Okay. All right. What you think? What you thought about the class?
Pardon?
What you thought about the class? Say it again.
And math. English and math.
No, I say, what you thought about the class? How was it for you?
It's awesome. I love it. It's really nice.
Okay, well that's good.
You know, yeah, it's not bad at all.
Great. So I'm glad
okay, you
that
can scroll down some more.
Scroll down some more.
Okay, you could go to the last set of questions.
One moment, let me